If you're like me, you probably lay in bed at night sometimes and just stare at the ceiling, just stare at the walls and feeling sad for absolutely no reason. Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's just tiredness, there's something empty inside you, and you feel that sadness and you don't know how to describe it, you don't think it has a reason, and you are not alone on that. There's tons of people who feel the same way, and um, now Soren Kierkegaard, who's called the father of existentialism, has noted that anxiety and dread has no object. It is a feeling directed at nothingness, and that nothingness, maybe it comes from, I would say, from tiredness, from anxiety. But I also don't understand the same as you probably why it happens. Maybe you had a terrible day, maybe you've been the happiest you've ever been, and you just sit there in quiet and you feel a certain way, you don't know why. Maybe it's because you have not achieved what you wanted. I sit sometimes and I think, yeah, well, I want this and that, and I pray because I'm a Christian, and ask God, hey, I want money for this, money for that, and you sometimes we forget, and exactly like you, sometimes we forget that not money is everything that matters. So you lay in bed and thinking about possibilities. Again, Kierkegaard noted that possibility is the heaviest weight the human soul can carry. And going from this quote, I mean, I'm not sure if it is a quote or not, uh, really is maybe possibility is what keeps us at night from sleeping. Maybe the thought of, hey, what if I could do that? What if that happened? And it, it depends also from what point are you coming. If you have nothing to lose, like me, you know, and when you have nothing to lose, you're actually sad because you're not trying to evolve. Like, hey, I'm not losing anything. Why I'm not trying to progress in? And I know it's obviously a hard journey. Everything is a hard journey. So maybe that's why you feel this way. Now, Kierkegaard struggled with deep personal depression and melancholy, which he called some tungsten, something like that. He was a Danish guy, so I'm not sure uh, about those words, how are they pronounced, which is basically a heavy mindlessness. Basically, when the day ends and the entertainment stops, the estate is left completely empty. Kierkegaard argued that this late night sadness is a wake-up call. It is your soul telling you that living for temporary distractions is not enough, and that you need to move toward a deeper, more meaningful existence, what he called the ethical or religious stages. And I guess that's why it happens mostly after a happy day, after a day where you've lived in distractions. Maybe you drank a lot, maybe you smoked a lot, maybe you did all kind of stupid things, and you lay in bed and, yeah, I had an amazing day. Well, something empty is inside you. Why? I don't know. Now, Kierkegaard don't say that the source of this feeling, quoted, anxiety is the dizziness of freedom which emerges when freedom looks down into its own possibility. And why it happens in silence? He said, the present state of the world and the whole of life is diseased. If I were a doctor and were asked for advice, I should answer, create silence, bring men to silence, because only in silence do we confront our true selves. And I think that's the main thing. That's why that sadness is there, because we confront ourselves. We look at the day that have passed and say, yeah, I had fun. Well, yeah, you had distraction, you're not evolving. And you have two sides. You know, you have two sides, the one that uh, says, yes, I want to be happy, I want to live in all those distractions, and the other one that's opposing that side of you and says, are you stupid? You know, you need to do something better with your life, and sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you're addicted to life, to that type of life. We are Everybody's addicted to something, I believe, and those little distractions like alcohol, nicotine, and everything else that a normal day can offer you, no, they leave you empty after inside. And you should not run away from that feeling at the end of the day. If Kierkegaard were sitting at the edge of your bed at night, he would tell you not to run away from that emptiness. He would tell you that the sadness is a sign of your freedom. It is a necessary crisis that forces you to stop living on autopilot, look inward, and make conscious, passionate choices about who you want to become. And that's what pisses me off exactly. You know, I'm perfectly comfortable at sitting in my bed and being sad and feeling empty, but then and I start making passionate choices about who I want to become, and I don't become, you know. The next day I woke up and I no longer care about what happened. I no longer care about what I said. Hey, you want to start a YouTube channel? Yeah, yeah, I will start tomorrow. Yeah, I'm motivated. And when the day comes, you no longer. You again, your brain again starts to think about those distractions. Starts to, you just go on about your day and you forget, and you remind yourself again the next night when you lay in bed, and you again realize that, hey, I'm living on autopilot. You know, like every day is the same day. You know, every day looks like the other day. I wake up, I eat, I go to the gym, I come home, I play something, or what I'm doing right now, recording, and I hope it comes great, honestly, because I'm just speaking without having anything wrote down. Um, so I'm living the same every single day. I'm living the same, ending with me going out and coming back home at night and lay in bed again with this freedom, with this emptiness that I feel inside, and most of you probably feel it. And I don't know if you're still listening because I'm 8 minutes in. Um, Now this is a necessary crisis. This this forces you to look at yourself and see what I've done today. And the same answer repeats and repeats, and you need to break that cycle. But breaking that cycle, I feel like won't delete the emptiness. You know, um, yes, freedom is something that can give us sadness for pretty not very obvious reasons, because freedom shouldn't give you sadness. But here it is, it gives us sadness because we have freedom to go towards our goal, to have everything we want, we have the freedom to work for it. And when the time comes, when the morning hits and you wake up, same thing happens. Eat, go to the gym, uh, maybe work or and something like that, and it never stops. And maybe the way to stop it is actually to take time and do whatever you thought about doing, because you're extremely motivated at night instead of being motivated uh, at day. Now here's something different. No, not different. Here's something interesting. Um, Kierkegaard believed that feeling this anxiety is a sign of spiritual health. Only those who are completely numb fail to feel it. So maybe it's something great. He quoted, deep within every human being there still lives the anxiety over the possibility of being alone in the world, forgotten by God. Um, so make passionate choices again tonight if this happens, and if you hear what I'm saying. Um, Make again passionate choices, but try to remember them tomorrow. And I know it's hard. I'm the same human as you, and I know it's hard, and I will probably try and fail. But again, make those passionate choices again and again, and try to go towards them. And maybe that feeling will go away, or maybe it will have a different reason. But tonight, take those feelings and make that passionate choice of who you want to become, and actually try. The next day, actually try it, and you'll see that um you will feel better. Now, if you fail, you will probably not feel better, but uh, most likely you won't fail because it's something passionate. You're passionate about that thing. That's why it keeps you up at night. So do not run away from this emptiness. Make those passionate choices tonight and become who you want to become. And when those thoughts come again, that emptiness, don't worry, you're not alone on that. We are here. I am here. So no, have a great day, I guess.